What Shake It Chewy Nation? ChewbaccaLemma here, back with a Madden 18 top 5 free elite cards that you can choose from. So what I'm going to do is, it's going to be a little confusing, but before I get into that, I first got to tell you, the reason I'm doing this is because of Joshua, who says, "Hey Chewy, can you do a video on the free core elite team players that you could choose from getting the GOAT edition?" Sure can, Joshua. I will do that. And that's why I'm doing it today. Thank you for the comment. And if you guys got any suggestions, let me know down in the comments down below. Also, for come Madden 18, if you have any video ideas or you want to see something, let me know down in the comments down below. That would be greatly appreciated because we're almost there. Only a few days away. So the way this is going to work, might seem confusing, but I think it will make some sense when we get into the top 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break them up into categories, because if I just do like best 5, you might get like all wide receivers and running backs or something, and I'm not sure how helpful that is if you don't want to go running back and wide receiver. So I'm going to do quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers / tight end, Jordan Reed, front 7, and then corners. The reason being is you might want to go with a pass rusher. You might want a corner. I want to make sure to touch on every type of player in this video, and most likely you're not going to want to, choose if you're not going to want to choose like the 3rd best running back unless you really like that card or really like that team. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So you're only going to see one wide receiver in the list. You're going to see one quarterback. You're going to see one running back. You're going to see one pass rusher / linebacker, and then you're going to see one corner. I think that's fair, and I'm going to break it up which of those the best of their position will be in my top 5. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, well, hopefully it'll make sense when we get into the video. Number 5. Coming in at number 5 is a corner. Now there's only 2 corners to choose from, and I don't think neither one is really that good, and that's why they're coming in at number 5, or this card is coming in at number 5. We either have Xavier Rhodes or Richard Sherman. There's only 2 to choose from. So between those 2, I'm going to go with Richard Sherman. Here's Richard Sherman. 6'3", you like that, compared to 6'1" on Xavier Rhodes. 78 speed compared to 81 on Xavier. Of course, you would like it to be better. Coverage stats very similar. Catching stats much better for Richard Sherman, so you like that. Everything else is pretty much the same. So these cards are very similar coverage-wise. The +2 inches to Sherman, +3 speed to Xavier Rhodes, with the catching going to Sherman. So that's the breakdown there. When you look at traits, they both play ball aggressive. They both have, I believe, high motor, but Richard Sherman has clutch. It could come in handy, perhaps. And look at that. That's very distracting. And Richard Sherman also has strips ball, which could come in clutch for your corner. You never know when Richard Sherman might come in and strip the ball. My opinion, Richard Sherman, 6'3", with strips ball, better catching stats, clutch, and I don't know how much that matters, but I think he's better than Xavier Rhodes. Let me know if you agree for the best corner, Richard Sherman. Number 4. Coming in at number 4 is the wide receiver position. So my top wide receiver, I believe, to be better than my top corner, Richard Sherman. It comes down, well, I'll just tell you who they are. They're Odell Beckham Jr., Antonio Brown, Amari Cooper, Julian Edelman, A.J. Green, Julio Jones, Jarvis Landry, and Sammy Watkins. So those are the wide receivers. If you want to go wide receiver, those are your choices. I think it comes down to 2 wide receivers. Really, none of them reach any thresholds. They're all like in the 70s. Nobody really stands out there. So to me, you look at like big wide receivers and you look at traits. The only thing I will say is Julian Edelman does reach 80 route running, which could matter. He could be interesting a little bit if that's a threshold, maybe. But in the end, these cards aren't going to be really that useful after the first couple weeks. Martavis Bryant at 79 overall, I think is better than all of these. So keep that in mind as we are doing this. But I do believe that these wide receivers, or this wide receiver, is better than Richard Sherman. Julio Jones is my number 4. A.J. Green is the other one. They're very, very, very similar. A.J. Green has +1 inch in height, so if you want that. Julio Jones has +2 speed. Catching stats very similar. All of them in the 70s. I don't think that's going to matter which one is higher. A.J. Green's is a few higher, I think like 78 catching traffic. But it doesn't really matter if that's not a threshold when we're playing competitive anyway. Really, I think very similar cards overall. I don't see this as being any better than A.J. Green or any worse, but he does have +2 speed, and the reason I do take Julio is because he fights for extra yards. Really, everything else is exactly the same. They both brace for all hits. Very similar traits. Julio fights for extra yards, +2 speed. That's basically it. Either Julio or A.J. Green. I think those are clearly the 2 best options. You might disagree. Let me know. The best wide receiver I say is Julio. What do you think? Number 3. For number 3, I have my pass rusher slash linebacker position. So I'm looking at the best pass rusher. I believe the best pass rusher is better than Julio, and I also believe is better than Richard Sherman. Now I'm looking at it, I said pass rusher, so I gave it away. It's going to be a pass rushing linebacker here, but let's look at who we got, or I'm going to tell you. You got Jamie Collins, you got Aaron Donald, you got Justin Houston, which I really like his core elite, 89 I think it is overall. Luke Kuechly, Von Miller, Terrell Suggs, J.J. Watt, and Muhammad Wilkerson. And my choice is Terrell Suggs. Now, Terrell Suggs, there's a lot of things that he does that no one else does, or does better than everybody else. 67 speed is the only concern, but you're sending him, he'll go after the quarterback, so I don't know. I mean, of course you want it to be a little bit higher, but let's look at this. 82 block shed, I think that might be the highest of all of them. 84 pursuit, 85 tackling, 84 power, 85 play rec, which is pretty good. Power move, 82, so 80 threshold, awesome. 70 finesse move. And let's go ahead and look at his traits. Yes, yes, pass rush, yes, 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 yes. He has every trait. And there's other players that also have those similar traits, but nobody that has the block shed, that has the power move threshold. I think there's one card that has the finesse move threshold, but besides that, I mean, he has better block shed, better traits, the best traits you can possibly have, except you would, I guess, want this to be plays ball aggressive, but you're probably going to be sending him most of the time anyway after the... You could make the case as this being the best free elite, but he does come in at number 3 ahead of Richard Sherman and Julio Jones. Number 2. Coming in at number 2 is the quarterback position. Now, there's a lot of quarterbacks you can choose from. Blake Bortles, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Carson Wentz, and Jameis Winston. So those are all the choices, a lot of choices. But for me, there's one that stands way above everyone else. And his name, Phillip Rivers. This card is crazy good, honestly. The only thing that you don't like, of course, he's 6'5". I mean, if that matters, it's huge, but he's 71 throw power, of course. I mean, that could be an issue. And there's like Aaron Rodgers with 80 throw power and 56 speed, when I think Aaron Rodgers has like 67, Andrew Luck has like 72. But if you've seen the gameplay, the pocket's looking really nice. He should be able to stay back there, and he actually looks like a pretty good day one quarterback. 85 throw accuracy short, probably going to hit all passes there. 81 throw accuracy mid, 80 throw accuracy deep. Meets, if it's an 80 threshold, which it seems like a decent chance it will be an 80 threshold, he will make almost every throw within reason if he has a clean pocket. That looks absolutely crazy. I love this card. I think this is absolutely nuts. Of course, no chemistries are going to help. Just if that saves, which I think it will. It looks like now. It's kind of disappointing. Awareness and play rec, no thank you. But what do you guys think? Number 2, Phillip Rivers. He's the best quarterback in my opinion. You could argue, I don't know who you're arguing. You might argue Aaron Rodgers. Andrew Luck doesn't look bad. Matthew Stafford, I think, has like 82 throw power. But I don't know. I'm liking Phillip Rivers. I think he's clearly the best. What do you guys think? He comes in at number 2. Number 1. Okay, so we have top corner in Richard Sherman. We have our top wide receiver in Julio Jones. We have our top pass rusher / linebacker in Terrell Suggs. We have the best quarterback in Phillip Rivers. And now we're looking at the best running back, because this is, in my opinion, the best card. Now, there's 2 really good ones that I think would both be in the top 5, so I'll mention them both. It comes down to Jordan Howard and David Johnson. The running backs overall are actually pretty good. You got Carlos Hyde, you have DeMarco Murray, David Johnson, Jordan Howard, and Ezekiel Elliott. They're solid, but really these 2 stand above all else. So we have Jordan Howard, 81 speed, pretty solid this early on. 82 excel, 80 agility, that looks fine. 82 trucking. I don't think there's a goal player, 79, up to 79, that reaches 80 trucking. Jordan Howard reaches that. 82 stiff arm as well. So those thresholds you're looking for, Jordan Howard has them. And he's like one of the only backs that does have them. Like, there's 80 trucking is very rare in this game. And he's an 80 overall free card. Of course his 87's better. But this card looks absolutely nuts for a free card. He can do something that no other free card really can do. I think Terrell Suggs could make the case that he is, pretty good, like almost borderline elite pass rusher, but Jordan Howard is an elite power back in my opinion. If you look at his if you look at his traits, he has fights for extra yards, brace for all hits. That's really what you're looking for. He is not good. He is not good in the passing game. Yes, I understand. He's terrible in the passing game. If you want a better receiving back, David Johnson is much better. Much more all-around back. But he doesn't meet those thresholds that you want to see. I think he might meet the juke move threshold if that's 80. But really, you like the fight for extra yards. He covers balls for all hits, so you should not see him fumbling. David Johnson braces for medium hitters. He's probably going to be okay overall. But really, Jordan Howard, to me, is clearly the best. You might make the case that David Johnson is definitely like top 3, maybe, definitely top 5, but for me, Jordan Howard is the best. All right, so there's my list. I hope that made sense. I didn't want to just do top 5 players because I know not everybody is going to want to go a running back or wants to go a wide receiver or wants to go a pass rusher because there's a lot of good pass rushers. There's some good running backs, quarterbacks. It just depends on what you're looking for. So I hope that made sense what I decided to do there. I'm sure it's unique. I hope so. I hope nobody else did it. So what do you guys think? The best corner being Richard Sherman. The best wide receiver, Julio Jones. The best pass rusher, Terrell Suggs. The best quarterback is Phillip Rivers. And the best player, free card that you can get, the best running back, Jordan Howard. Let me know what you guys think of my list. Also down below, leave any comments, suggestions for coming in Madden 18. And also this video. That would help as well. Thank you guys. You guys are absolutely incredible. That's all I got. ChewbaccaLemma out.